What you are about to hear is some of the craziest shit, pun intended,
Oh no.
that I have found and come across. And if you guys are listening or watching and saying, well, I already knew everything about this, fuck you, I didn't, and I think it's really cool. So, on that note,
So
welcome
back
to Buzzbait. Welcome to Buzzbait. You're waiting for something new each week. I'm your host, Lara, and with me are Colin and Megan. And today
we
talking
have a
about
mystery topic.
A mystery topic. I've kept this a secret from Colin and Megan.
Something involving puns.
It's either involving puns or it's involving shit.
So, this is a rabbit hole that I went down, and I just wanted to kind of tell you guys and talk to you about the journey that I went on. I literally documented the rabbit hole 1 to 22 about everything, about all the steps that I took, what I searched, what I found, everything that happened. So, this topic might seem a little gross to a couple people, but if you know me, I be tootin'. I be shitting and farting.
Is this entire episode going to be a rabbit hole about you learning about, like...
About farts? Quite possibly. That's how we start. I'm just going to say that. That's how we start. We don't end there, though.
Fart in a jar, Laura.
That's how we start. So, how it started was I was at work the other day, and I farted, as I do. Farts in jars, absolutely. I farted at work, and it felt really weird. Like, it didn't feel like a normal fart. How I described it, or how I would describe it is, you know, like fish when they're like glub glub glub, you know, like that, like, and like the air rolling up into the water. Mm-hmm. It was like that sound and feeling up my ass crack of like thick bubbly air up, right?
Do you know what that is? Is that what you Googled?
That's what I Googled. Why do farts feel different?
Why am I fart different?
Yeah, that's literally it. I was like, do different farts mean different things? That's exactly where I started.
Are you going to educate me on this? Because I don't know if different farts mean different things, but I do know the sensation that you're talking about, and I assume that it was because you've been working out your ass more and you're caked up more. You got thickums down there, and you had a little bit of swamp ass, so it had something to work through. You had a little bit of work swamp.
Surprisingly, I wasn't that like sweaty. It was a day that I was just standing for like 10 hours, so I wasn't too sweaty. But I was just like, do different farts mean different things? And I actually could not find an answer to that.
I know
there were a lot of different studies about farts, though.
I know there's the consistency of your poo and what it means.
Right, and I was trying to find that,
but for farts.
But yes, for air instead, and I couldn't find it. And because I noticed all these fart studies, I was like, who the fuck is studying farts? Like, whose job is this? And I found out it's called flatology. You study flatulence.
That's hilarious.
Right?
What an unfortunate,
you could be a flatologist.
What an unfortunate name for your career. That's like,
and so
it's like herpologists being reptile studies, but it sounds like like you just specialized in learning about one STD.
Yeah. So I found that out. And so through looking at the science of farts, I found out on National Geographic that scientists are building an animal fart database. So that way they can find out through that if humans' farts mean different things by studying animals' farts.
Okay, but we do know that different farts mean different things.
Well, no, because I said, like, I was trying to find, like, earlier, like, do different farts mean different things? And I couldn't quite find it. I found smells, but not feelings. That's what I needed.
Okay, feelings. Because also sounds can mean different things.
Yes, but I needed the feelings specifically, and I couldn't find anything.
I can tell you what one fart means that feels, if it feels really warm afterwards, it means it wasn't a fart.
Was not a fart.
That's not always true. Sometimes you get hot farts. I don't know what you're talking about. You ever
Well,
have a hot fart and you're like,
well, I
maybe
never
shit
fart
my
cold.
pants?
I'm gonna say that.
But like, I mean, like a really
Yeah,
hot one where
if-
you're like,
if you-
did I just shit my
If you
pants?
if
Then
you
you
fart
didn't.
cold,
if you've got
that's
a- if you've ever-
nuts.
If you've ever had a cold fart, go to the doctor. Like, call 911.
Actually, first, before you call 911, comment and tell me if you have, because I'm very
yeah,
interested.
and then call 911, because like something, unless which I found out. I found
I'm
out
titling this
recently.
episode "Gassed Up."
Yes,
I
as you
found
should.
out recently, because I was listening to a story about a woman who worked at like a phone sex thing, and like there was this guy who would regularly call in, and he was just like, "Oh, like what should I put in my ass?" And she was like, "Put an ice cube up there." And he went to the hospital.
What should I put in my ass?
He had to go to the hospital because it turns out if you shove an ice cube up your ass, it will send your body into shock.
It sure can.
And
Sure
so
can.
it was like, that's the only thing I can think of that would give you a cold fart, which means if
are
you've done
effective
that,
for a reason.
you already need to go to the hospital.
Yeah, suppositories are effective for a reason. They go up your ass and they're fucking absorbed so fast because I mean there's so much fucking, I was about to say shit there, but there is a lot of shit there where the suppositories go.
So in this but in the National Geographic article, right? I'm gonna be honest, because they don't have a lot of farts, it wasn't that interesting yet, because they discussed with 3 different doctors, or scientists, I should say, about the kinds of animals that don't fart, like, at all, or have not been recorded or seen or heard to pass gas. Would you guys like to take a guess at least one of the animals
Pig.
that
No,
don't
pigs
fart?
definitely-
Oh, that
pigs
don't
definitely
fart. Sorry, my brain immediately
I
was
was like,
just
pigs are known for
I
tooting.
my brain was
What's the animal that has square turds? Is it a quokka? Quokka?
animals that don't fart.
They have square turds. Is that a wombat?
Do birds?
Whatever has square fucking shit.
Well, both
Whatever
of your
poops
answers
and
are not
cues.
on this list.
Well, I assumed what the end of the question was going to be. Is it some kind of bird?
Colin would be correct. It says that birds, they just say that birds in no like
Interesting.
specific, but birds do not fart. Marine invertebrate, such as clams, don't fart.
Huh.
Cephalopods, or right? Cephalopods, such as squids, only fart if we count air coming out of their siphon as farting.
Yeah, like fish and stuff. They've got like air bladders, and you can like burp them
Yeah.
or whatever.
Salamanders and frogs have weak sphincters and probably don't fart, but could. So they're not on record.
I was gonna say I've seen
to fart.
I have seen a video of a frog letting out. The only reason I know the frog was tooting is because like a bunch of bubbles started coming up out of the water right behind his little tuchus.
Yeah, but that's probably on the same thing of like, oh, if you count air being released, because that's the thing is like it could have air coming out of its ass but not be a fart, because if they're saying that loose sphincter is part of it, then air escapes but isn't a fart because it's just passing through their body. So I don't know if that's why they were saying like frogs technically and like salamanders and stuff with their, because they said loose sphincter, so they probably don't fart. Which
yeah, they
means
said weak.
So like,
you know who else
I'm
has
thinking
a
that
loose
means that there's
sphincter?
not the tension there, and
Your
that means
mom.
that air comes out. By the way, I did Google what animals have square poops. It is wombats, and wombats do in fact fart and are known for producing flatulence. The BBC show even featured a wombat named Pete, known for his frequent noticeable farts. Just so everybody knows, Pete the wombat, square
Pete the
poops.
wombat.
Very,
That's
very
my distant cousin.
Do you also take square shits?
Like rectangular. Last on the list here are badgers. They produce some of the most disgusting scat in the animal kingdom, but have yet to be recorded, seen, or heard farting.
I would have thought like an animal with the title of one of the most disgusting scats would. Well, I guess technically it's not poop. I was gonna say owls because they just like swallow mice and then
Pellets.
throw them up.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's not technically a pooper.
So then going back to look at the science of farting, because
Alright.
I was in fact like enamored of this. I was like, wow, this is actually very educational and cool.
Mm-hmm.
I found the art of it.
The art of the fart.
Fartists. They're called fartists. And it's people that are professional farters,
That's
mostly
crazy.
known for like comedic effects. So like back in old movies and shows when they
I was
didn't
gonna say like
have
that's.
sound
I was say
effects,
that's got to
they
be
would
like fetish or yeah, like the comedy.
yeah, they would hire people who could fart on command for these old movies, old shows, whatever, and either use that sound or they would just be in the show and like, you know. Um so there is a list of on Wikipedia, a list of very famous, very well-known professional farters. One of them being named Mr. Methane. Would you like to hear his jingle?
Absolutely.
I am so happy you said that because I've been wanting to play this. It's incredible.
Can you guess where this comes from? MrMethane.com. MrMethane. MrMethane.com.
For reference, everybody, Meg is not even smiling at the fart jingle. Laura and I are cracking the fuck up.
Meg hates this episode.
No. It's not that I hate the episode.
So that's Mr. Methane. That's his jingle, which fucking
That
killed
shit was
me.
funny.
And I thought the funniest shit, again, pun intended. And apparently he's been on like he's UK based, but he's been Mr. Methane has also showcased his performance farting on many TV and radio shows during his long and illustrious career. Howard Stern called him a true genius, a huge star,
That's amazing.
which is fucking awesome.
Imagine
and that's kind of where I stopped.
Imagine your claim to fame is that you're just God's best farter. You
Yeah,
were
but here's the
blessed
thing.
with a tuchus
Laura,
that makes
fart in
magic.
some fucking jars and get that bag.
You want to? A little too,
You.
maybe a little hair.
Jesus Christ. Thank God I don't have a hairy ass. It's
Dude,
gotta
I
be
do.
Okay,
rough
so
being a man
then
with
so
a
then
hairy
it'll
ass.
have to be me. It'll have to be
Dude,
me. I got a hairy
I
fucking
got
ass.
God. I think I got God's.
Me and Colin got hair where
ass.
monkeys don't, brother. That's what I'm saying.
God took all the hair off those monkeys and was just like, "Oh, give it to this guy. He's good for it. He'll take it."
That's rough, buddy. That's
Well, yeah,
rough.
I mean, I'll start farting in some jars for sure. Just let me know. Comment below if you are hungry for these fart jars.
Laura, what's the minimum that you sell your fart jar for? $20?
I was gonna say like 15, 20 bucks.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
Well, because you gotta cover the expense of a jar, and I feel like I don't know why, but I feel like a glass jar.
You can if
I'm
you
thinking
go
like
to
a
if you
mason
go to
jar,
if you go to like a
Yeah.
craft store, you can get like a box of 16 mason jars for like $8 depending on where you are.
Yeah, well, a mason jar, I put a little ribbon on it,
That's
and
so
then
sweet
like
of you.
if they paid some. Here's the thing: it'll be tiers, right? So you can just get the base jar, which will
is
just
your
be
everyday fart.
which is everyday fart,
Yeah, dude.
you know,
It's
like
just like,
right.
whatever.
went about
Then
my
there's-
day, had my usual.
Then there's my whey protein farts.
How much is that
and
jar?
then
how much,
That'll help your
how much,
gains.
how much is the whey protein jar versus
You have to account for the
Well,
cost
hold
of
on.
the protein.
that's the medium jar. That's like the upgrade.
Mhm.
And then
Well, you guys say how much?
period fart jar.
How much?
Okay, that's
much are
crazy.
we-
I was thinking that you were gonna do what some women do, which is like people will tell them what to eat, and then that's the farts that you
No.
give them.
Absolutely
You
not,
won't
'cause
reach
there's a-
that
Oh, you're
level.
not taking
and
custom
never.
orders? You're not taking custom orders?
100
Hell the
bucks?
fucking no.
$100?
If somebody
100
told
bucks.
me, hey, $100, you gotta eat some clams, I'd fucking snap my neck. I'd rather kill myself. I hate seafood.
Okay, but you can
Yeah,
put
like you
restrictions
can
on
set
it.
like
They're like, just eat
yeah.
a bag of eat some potato chips today,
No.
and then that's the fart.
No.
No.
You're
Dang.
getting everyday fart, way fart, or period fart, and those are the only options you're getting. Don't be fucking picky. I already gave you 3 fucking options.
No,
I'm
there
the
is-
one farting in the jar.
Yeah, you're right. You are. Good for
And
you.
then,
again,
so you
someone
got those
fart.
3 options,
Okay.
right, of kind of farts. And then you got customization. So it's like, if it's the or not the protein, if it's the period one, do you want my tampon in there too? Sure. There you go.
I'm gonna
Or like we
vomit.
said
I'm
earlier,
gonna
do you
vomit.
want
I'm
like a little
going
bit of
to
pubic
vomit.
hair in there? Got you, no worries.
I'm going to vomit. Or I'm going to throw
I
up.
You guys brought up the fucking fart jar conversation.
don't you pin this on us. Meg brought up the fart jars. But once we were
I'm just trying
I
to
do think-
appease the
I
masses.
do think if you do the customization for the period one, I believe you have to charge them extra because you have to ship that as a biohazardous medical waste.
Oh, it'll be pricey. It'll be expensive. Absolutely. You're getting a piece of me that shed it out. Shed it and shitted. That's what you're fucking getting.
Oh my god.
We gotta start
And
making
Laura,
money off of
please.
this soon. Please, God.
Laura, please. Laura, please.
This is the nastiest episode we've ever. Nastiest.
Oh
So
my
at this
goodness.
point in time, I thought my journey of fartism and the rabbit hole was done.
You thought.
Little did I know, Google and YouTube had a little surprise for me.
Oh no. Did you see Two
Because-
Girls, One Cup?
On YouTube? No.
That's where it used to be.
I never saw it on YouTube.
Oh, God.
I saw it on a totally different site.
Nope. My buddy goes, "Hey, look at this funny YouTube video," and I watched it, and I was like, uh.
I thankfully have never seen Two Girls, One Cup. I did see One Man, One Jar, though.
Oof. So yeah, I thought my rabbit hole journey here was done of being like, okay, I found Mr. Methane. I found peak. I lied. So because I'm pretty sure this is because, as I mentioned, I believe in the gaming episode, how I said that I was watching old, like gaming conferences and stuff, right? I had to burp. That I was watching old gaming conferences and stuff. Nice. And also because Google had the history of me looking up farts and stuff, I came across the perfect video that mashed both together.
Oh boy.
Do you guys know about the game My Sims Racing?
Yes.
Okay. For context, Meg, it is a very, very old sim game. It is approaching like 20 years old here soon. It's like a old DS, Nintendo Wii, like that era kind of game. Where it's literally just if you know the My Sims, where it's like the chibi version of Sims, racing, because they, for whatever reason, decided to compete with like Mario Kart, and obviously it didn't do very well because we haven't seen one since. Well, the Sims channel on YouTube, official channel, released a video around the time that this game came out or was coming out, that showed this guy who is a fartist, and they used his butthole sounds in the game. And what amazed me, first off, as I was watching the video, the first thing he says, he like introduces himself, right? And then goes, "I'm here in the studio today to just see what noises come out of me." Dream fucking job, bro.
Absolute cinema.
Dream job, right? And they used, so what sounds came out of his body? First off, the person in the studio with him would just be like, "Hey, we want this noise," right? And he would make it with his ass. Incredible, incredible. They said, we need a bubble pop sound. And he did it, and then they showed how they used that sound in the game. Which, if you just played My Sims Racing, by the way, it does not sound.
No, it does not sound like that noise came from a butt.
It does not sound like a fart. It's I was amazed. I was like, seeing this guy in action, I was like, I need to know more about this man. His name was, I'm gonna fuck it up. It's Myron Lefkowitz, right? When he introduced himself, that's what he said. And in the Sim, again, the official Sims YouTube channel description there, or video description, sorry, they had his name written down. So I copied it and went to Google. And I'm pretty sure the Sims, in Sims fashion, made this guy up. Because there was nothing.
Might have been a fake name.
Well, yeah, like a stage name, like an acting name.
Well, if it was a stage name, then it would have had more. If it
was a stage name, I was gonna say, if it was a stage name, he also wasn't in the official My Sims Racing credits, and they do credit fartists. That was something that I look up. They credit them as Foley artists. But so when I put in his name in Google, there were two things that came up, right? One was from the Beyond Sims blog, which is a very old post that literally, it was like 2 paragraphs, and it was just them saying, this dude looks like Borat. And he kind of did. The second thing is a Reddit post of a Twitter screenshot of an image of a poster that said he was like performing somewhere as like a comedy show, and it was just a handful of people on Reddit. I could not find the Twitter post, right? Image.
Spell the last name?
Lefkowitz.
I found a Reddit post from 5 years ago about the guy. Someone
saying they're going to a comedy show.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I just said.
Yeah. But I was just.
But it's a handful of people in that Reddit that are saying like, "Oh, I know him," or like, "I'm going to his show." And so the people that were like, "Oh, I'm going to the show," I went to their page to be like, "Oh, well, did they like follow up? Did they say like, hey, it was good or it was bad, or he maybe he didn't show up or something?" I couldn't find a single follow up. I don't think anybody went to that fucking show.
Just lying for internet clout.
So this is where I went to the My Sims Racing IMDb that doesn't credit him, but get this, they credit the composer of that game, and he has done like incredible iconic things, by the way. Like he composed the music for a Minecraft movie.
Whoa.
He did the music for Thor Ragnarok, and he composed the music for Our Flag Means Death. He also did a lot of other fucking crazy pop culture stuff, which I was like, wow, you went from composing a fartist game to this. Like, that's crazy. It also made me wonder, like, did Thor Ragnarok and Minecraft movie and all these other things also use fart noises? Like, how often is this actually used?
Right.
So
then just in IMDb,
I looked up. This is why, because his name is different. I found it right here. Vice article. It says he performs under the moniker Myron Lefkowitz, but it's Shafir. It's the dude who made the post about I'm going like on the Reddit thing.
I'm going to the show, and the guy that posted it is the fucking guy that's performing.
The guy.
That's why it's on his Reddit thread. It's his Reddit thread though. Ari Shafir.
That's so
his
funny.
Reddit
What a
thread,
fucking
and he was like,
move.
What? Like, yeah, what a move, because it fucking stumped me.
You should check out the comic name Myron Lefkowitz. Yeah, well, which is why, though, you can't find anything on him, and there's no shows under this name because he only performs under it sometimes.
Right.
Or only did for a short period of time, and now he goes by his actual name. I solved your mystery, though, Laura.
Well, that's fine because I stopped there. I was just like, whatever, I don't care. And then I went back to the beginning and just searched Fartist again. And it brought me to this website that my phone was like, you are going to get a virus. And I was like, I don't care. And went
Worth
ahead
it.
anyways. Because it's called fartism.org, but it's lowercase f, capital A, right? Everything on this site was lowercase f, capital A, artism, right?
That's actually really funny.
And it's this guy. I'm assuming it's just one man because everything on the site just kind of seemed like an opinion. um, but it let me bring up real quick what this site defined fartism as, because he had a couple of definitions here.
A couple bangers.
If you want to call them that. So, a work of fart is a noun, something that is considered a work of art, and 1 requires no special skill to create, and 2 has no inherent meaning. Example, no meaning except that which viewers put into it. Another definition he had was fartism, noun. 1, a cultural movement involving the creation of works of fart. 2, a farce of art. And the third definition was fartist, which one who creates work of art, whether intentionally or not. And that's where I'm like, okay, so this is kind of an opinion thing. Because what is art if it has no purpose?
That's fair.
Right? Let me see here. But yeah, so the way he was like, it's art, like, this fartist or fartism, whatever, described as art that has no meaning or purpose. And I'm like, okay, so then how is it art? 2, and how is it judged? You're saying that it's art that is only created for the people viewing it to put meaning into it. Is that not like all art, I guess, in a way? Like, I think it's just one. I think the site is just one guy that really hates art because he went on to the site. If you go to like the history section, and he cites like very prolific artists and pieces of art that they made, and he calls them fart with absolutely no evidence, reason, or like historic proof that the person had zero intention of the art or is like zero meaning behind it. Right? Like he showed pictures. He goes, people have been making fart since the 1800s, and again literally cited like David by Michelangelo as a work of art. Like that's, if not the most famous and prolific piece of art in the world, it's certainly up there, right? Like it's kind of crazy. And this site also claims to have a contest for fart. But it says here that like your art must be qualified in or as a major modern art in like some of the most world's famous like art museums.
That's
right?
crazy.
So like the Museum of Modern Art in New York, and the Museum of Modern Art in San Francisco, or like Tate Modern in London. So it's just nuts. And he said, and I think I'm the second person ever to visit the site because it says winning this contest could be a monumental achievement deserving of an enormous cash prize. We alone cannot fund such a prize, and we hope together we all can. We, the like creators, I think it's just one guy. We've seeded the prize with put together $1,000 to help catalyze this movement. Please consider contributing. Would you like to guess where the $1,000 prize amount is at right now? Because
70.
again, people have contributed.
Oh, okay.
$300,000.
Do you think it's at $300,000?
Mm-hmm.
Like 5,000.
No, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's insane.
$1,001.
No, damn.
And if you don't believe me,
That's
there's the proof.
hilarious.
1,000. That's why I said I think I'm the second person ever to visit this site, and that's probably because when you visit the site, your phone or computer is gonna be like, "You're gonna get a fucking virus.
You're gonna die here.
Don't go here." Yeah, we're gonna explode if you go on this site, right? And by the way, this contest ended in 2017,
Oh,
but the prize is still
the prize is still there.
$1,001. Yeah,
They didn't get their money.
so
Oh my
I
goodness.
have kind of thought that we could post one of our videos in there and win $1,001.
We should absolutely not. But what we can do is start our own prize pool. People send us audio clips of their farts.
I don't want that. I want to get
Ooh,
$1,000.
I want that.
And
I
donate to
want
the prize
that.
pool.
They donate to the prize pool, they donate their farts, and then we take the money and run. Boom. No, that's a win-win.
No.
That's a win-win.
No.
When you were just talking about pump and dump schemes.
That's
This is a
true.
shit and hit scheme.
All right, guys, I'm announcing my retirement from the podcast.
It's fine. Also, really quick, the reason why you can't find anything about that guy, and also why, it's because he started that pseudonym because he got canceled from almost immediately mocking Kobe Bryant's death, to the point where Joe Rogan was like, he took it too far. Joe Rogan said that this Tom
then
Segura told this
career
man-
ending.
Yeah.
and he was gonna have a show, I guess, and like the producer bailed like last minute and stuff, and then he didn't cancel all of them, and the ones that he didn't cancel, I guess, were under this Myron Lefkowitz name.
I mean, it's like when fucking the downfall of Kanye West, when he was on like the podcast with Alex Jones, and Alex Jones is like, you need to relax.
Yeah, if Alex Jones is saying you're nuts, it's over for
it's
you.
Jover, bro.
It's just
You gotta
over.
move
It's
on.
Jover. It's Jover will never be Brock.
Laura explained that to me because I heard you say it's Jover, and then Laura said it's all Jover, and I was like, can I be honest? I don't get that.
And explain that. I also said to go into shit puns here. I don't remember when I said to you that it's like I'm just looks, charms, and arms, and if that doesn't get the ladies, then I don't know what will. But recently,
which is a bar on God.
It is a bar, and I came up with another one recently because I was just sitting alone in my apartment, as I do because I live alone. And I was like,
better have some
I'm
fucking
also
hobbies.
Wits, tits, and shits. And that's all I got. Those are the 6 things that I got, and if the women don't like any of them, I'm shit out of luck.
Looks, charms, arms, wits, tits, and
shits. That's it, brother. That's all I got to offer. If you're listening to this podcast, first off, thank you for your support, and thank you for making it this far in this episode.
37 minutes of talking about tootin'.
Yeah. You're a fucking trooper. Also, if you're listening and you said, man, those 6 things I really love in a woman, please contact me.
Just the way you look down and out, like you guys don't get the video of this, but please contact me.
just like please contact me.
pretty please.
That's
again
too
looks
funny.
Looks, charms, and arms. Wits, tits, and shits.
Wits, tits.
That's it.
Wits, tits, and having the shits.
All forms of shits, brother. But that was my rabbit hole. That's kind of where I ended. Because I wanted to hear about if you guys went on any rabbit holes recently, or like what was one that you really took a turn you really enjoyed, something like
Um,
that.
the
Because I know I personally love going to the any sort of Wikipedia page and clicking on every single blue word that pops up.
Yep. The only real rabbit hole I've gone down is one that I mentioned during the conspiracy theory episode because it was the missing 411 and the Black Forest theory.
Yeah.
Because it's just like at first I was just like, huh, like because I had heard the missing 411 like mentioned before, and I was like, that sounds a bit odd. And then yeah, I was just like clicking all the like links in the Wikipedia article, and I was like, okay. And by the end of it, I was like, maybe it's true. Maybe there's monsters in the national parks.
You're putting on your tinfoil hat.
Yeah, it's like after you read so many of these stories where it's like this person's child like walked out of sight for a minute, and if the child is found, it's like 3 miles deeper into the park.
Yeah. Well, the other thing though is like specifically like the Appalachian Mountains are so fucking old. There are parts of it that are in Europe, which means that it's Pangea related. Like it's as old as when there were not separate continents, you know? Like that's insane.
I mean, technically, the whole world is.
Yeah.
Well, no. Well, that's not true. I mean, what I mean
You're
is like
saying the
the
world isn't as
formation.
old as the world?
Oof.
Like, that's
Pranked.
fucking nuts.
Pranked.
What I'm saying is the formation of some rocks does not survive the entire time without being reformed into new materials. This is material that in its current state has been around since that time. That's what I'm saying. So like shit gets melted down and turned into lava and then reformed into new rocks. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or pushed underground or changed or eroded away into sand. So like that stuff as its current state as a mountain, to my understanding, it's been around since Pangea as a mountain. It was a mountain and then it broke apart as a mountain range
Mm-hmm.
and moved the fuck away. And to me, that's what's crazy. It's like it used to be one mountain range from here to here when it was all together. And like that to me is, I think, just like I said, like fucking nuts. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's crazy spooky shit up in there. It's so fucking old. Where else would crazy spooky shit go if not to the oldest fucking corners of the earth? The
I guess that's
deepest
fair.
parts, the oldest parts, scary.
But yeah. So my experience with rabbit holes has always been like either conspiracy related or adjacent to like conspiracy topics, because it's always just like it's a mix of like I want to know what's going on and I want to know what all these crazy motherfuckers think is going on.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
So I think the last thing that I looked at was like stuff about like I like looking into random like science things. 'Cause I'll try and figure out like what the hell is going on. But unfortunately, like my understanding, my limitation of science doesn't work. So like I read an article and it was talking about like, oh, there's like 3 times the world's ocean of water under the, underground. And I'm like, that what? And so I read it and they're like, yeah, so actually this stuff, it becomes ring woodite and it ionizes the hydrogen molecule and it attaches to olivine and it becomes ring woodite, and there's the hydrogen molecule. And I'm like, how is that water? And I'm like, what do you mean? And I try and understand, and I am falling down these like science rabbit holes. But I think that the more recent one was when I was trying to like look up like pseudoscience stuff,
Mm.
and like trying to understand the concept of pseudoscience, because I was like, okay, so like pseudoscience is stuff that's like proven to be false. But then they put stuff on the pseudoscience list that like hasn't been proven to be false, like
Right.
medically.
But it's one of those things where it's like it's at least because I remember looking into some pseudoscience stuff like a couple years ago, and it's like it's at least what I was looking at where it was like something it wasn't proven false scientifically, but also hasn't been proven to like not be false.
Right. So then I'm like, isn't it just a scientific theory? And so you can't call it and dismiss it as pseudoscience, because I feel like
Right, you can't just
pseudoscience is
say it's
it has like
fake.
a negative connotation. People hear pseudoscience like, oh, that's a pseudoscience, and they're like, oh, so then that's fake. That's not real.
Mm-hmm.
When it's like like certain stuff being classified as pseudoscience, and like, but wait, you can't prove that this isn't what's happening, and so how do you say and emphatically say, well, this is by all definitions and like by our understanding of something today, you're like, oh, well, that's a pseudoscience, and it's like, well, yeah, no, it's not. By your own definition of what pseudoscience is, it's not, and yet it still persists under this label of pseudoscience. And like, I was trying to understand the concept and like, well, which parts of it like push it towards pseudoscience, right? So like there's and if we're going back to our conspiracy thing, there's the Younger Dryas impact theory, right? Which is there's an era in the world called the Younger Dryas, and it was a time where there was the world was getting warmer, right around the end of the last ice age, and then all of a sudden there was rapid cooling in the oceans, and the ocean currents suddenly got a lot colder. Well, the situation, the understanding or the theory is that massive amounts of glacier from North America melted and joined into the ocean. And we do know that large glacial events and receding stuff happened around a certain time, because we do have two separate things: one ice shelf in Greenland and one ice shelf in North America around the same time. Both had massive disturbances where they broke off, and it caused these big glaciers, and those big glaciers began to melt and traveled down, and they carved out a lot of the rivers across North America, these great rivers and stuff that we have, and these lakes that we have, like the Finger Lakes. It's all glacial.
Mm-hmm.
So we know some of this stuff like for a fact. But then the Younger Dryas impact theory, they were like, well, somebody had a theory. They were like, well, if I think a meteor hit here, and then they did testing in those areas, and they said meteors didn't hit here, so the entire Younger Dryas impact theory is wrong. From what I was reading, the entire it was an actual article by like college grad students, and they were talking about like for their thesis and everything, like disproving the Younger Dryas impact theory. And they were like, well, we know for a fact that when like meteor strikes happen, there are these characteristics around the earth, like the way that it heats the materials. You'll get like these like almost like diamond granules and stuff a lot of the time, to my understanding. And so like you find and you see these specific things, and we didn't see this in the ice where this supposedly hit, and so therefore this impact theory is wrong. And I'm like, but you're not disproving the theory of impact, you're disproving the locations posited for impact. Like, you can't
Right.
say for sure what caused this. You don't give an alternative answer, and therefore you can't definitively say that this is not the right answer. So then to call it just like to basically say that you're disproving something without actively disproving, like you're basically saying you're disproving the theory when all you're doing is disproving the assertions like relevant in the theory, like you know what I mean.
One time, for a public speaking class, we had to argue a point of something, right? And we had to the goal of the argument was at the end we needed at least one student to say you changed my opinion on it. And to have a little fun with it, I said I'm going to disprove the moon landing and say that we never even left Earth's atmosphere.
You're the reason why so many people don't think we went to the moon, guaranteed. An entire class of people, you've put doubt in their minds.
um well, I feel like people were just raising their hand to just fucking be nice and get shit over with. Um but I mean, I went on the chalkboard and I was going nuts with it. Do I think we went to the moon? Yeah. I I just wanted to argue the other side
Right.
for the sake of it and to be a little fun and silly and not have to be like, I think so and so should be legal, and it's like things that naturally just make sense. Um, because that didn't seem fun to me, I guess. And I feel like a lot of these, I at least want to think that a lot of these people that are like, here's why so and so is fake, when it's something that could very clearly be, you know, proven,
Mhm.
are just doing it for the shits and giggles of it. Again, that's what I want to think, but I know not everybody is like me and it goes, I'm gonna just explore the other side to just be funny.
Yeah, there's the old school RuneScape like creator Discord that I was added to for like tips and feedback and suggestions. Somebody was just like, yeah, like this creator posted a video where he just kind of like rips apart the new, like, it's a basically like RuneScape's equivalent of like they made their own survival crafting game. And like his video is just like he has like a couple good points about like issues he has with the game, and the rest of it is basically just him going old school RuneScape. Like they just need to stick to RuneScape, this game, like just going off on like tearing this game apart, and everybody's just
Going woke.
and everybody in like the server is just like, I genuinely think like he has a couple points in the like he presents them in the beginning because like that's where people are gonna like listen and be like, oh, like that's a good point, and then the rest of the video is just
Right.
him going fucking crazy. And it's just like, and then like somebody else like went to the rest of his videos on his channel, and it's all just like every video is the same formula. He's got a couple good points, and then the rest of it is just belligerent negativity, and it's like that's just
Sad.
what he does for
Hate to see
content.
it.
Because like
Hate to see it. But you know what? I'm sure he's raking in
yeah,
the
because like that was the thing,
views.
is like somebody was like, yeah, like I talked to him, like I didn't like I met him before his channel got big, and like he's a super nice guy, and like I still talk to him now, and like he's super, and it was like, then why? And it's like he just posts this because it's what gets people to come to his videos and either complain or like call him an asshole.
Yeah, we said in the X video that, you know, the honorable mention was being a negative person,
Yeah.
but man, does it get people's attention. But yeah, that's my rabbit hole, and I appreciated you guys sharing kind of your own interests and rabbit holes. I think this episode was very educational.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting topic that I didn't expect to be educated on, but there was
Fart
definitely
science,
there was
baby.
definitely a lot of information.
Florist.
Fartists.
Yeah, wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't. And you know, you tried to make me guess. You know, you said it should be obvious knowing me, and when you say that, like, yeah, of course it should be obvious knowing you that it involved shitting or farting or something. And yet I never would have guessed. Never in a million
Never in a
years
million years.
would have guessed fartists was the topic
so
that you
funny.
were
Fartists.
going to bring up.
Today, not today, a couple days ago, I found my dream job, and one that I'm about to perform when this episode is done.
Hell yeah.
So what should we keep,
Keep it farty. Keep it.
We had to keep it clean. Can we have keep it stinky?
Last episode, keeping it clean.
Keep
This
it
episode,
flatulent.
Keep it flatulent. Uh keep it gassed up.
Yeah.
Keep it gassed up. I like that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hell yeah,
Sure.
that's good.
Just a couple more bangers from the gallery.
That's what Laura calls her farts. Bangers from the gallery.
She doesn't, but she's about to now.
Every time I fart now, you guys are gonna get a like text or something of me saying just dropped another banger from the gallery. Meg, remember this was last year and probably around this time, you sent a text into a group chat that we were a part of where you were like there was nothing prior to lead to this where you were like right? And so then I sent back a video or a voice clip of just me farting. And I was waiting at a bus stop. I was at a public bus stop, and I just put the phone right to my crotch and just let one rip right into my phone and then sent it. And you just said, I wasn't expecting that.
I'm sure that happened. I'm sure it did.
I remember because you said that, and I was like, well, what else did you expect? And then I guess you heard or read something that's like, if somebody were to make a random noise, like other people would just make the noise
Right,
as
like
well or
vocal stim,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't,
Right,
obviously.
you threw back your own.
I dropped a banger from the gallery, and and you were just like, wow.
Wow, that's neat.
Another banger from the gallery.
Can that be the title of the episode?
Yep.
Bangers from the gallery, please. Thank you for giving me that, Colin. I really
You're
appreciate it.
welcome. Happy to help.